Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, I'm going to be talking as Bernardo Silva, as the Bernardo Silva saga is back on. And then as well, we're going to be talking about Joao Felix, as he did have an interview with Gerard Romero, in which he talked about some very interesting discussions. And, in that interview, he actually talked about Bernardo Silva. And then as well, we'll be talking about Barcelona 1, Barcelona's Netflix of sort, which I covered in a previous video. But guys, before I get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Go over there and check me out. That way you guys can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, let's get straight into it and let's talk about Bernardo Silva, as Barcelona and Xavi, they have not given up on their pursuit of Bernardo Silva. And something to keep in mind is that Bernardo Silva, he has a 50 million release clause inserted into his Manchester City contract starting this summer. He has a contract valid until 2026, and as I said, he has a 50 million release clause. He is 29 at the moment. He's going to be turning 30 in um in August. And Xavi and the board, they're huge fans of him. And Xavi's future could also be potentially tied, to the coming of Bernardo Silva, as a report from Ravelo has basically said that should Xavi stay beyond this season, he would set conditions for the club. He doesn't want the team to weaken, and he wants to strengthen it. Zubamendi and Bernardo Silva are still on Xavi's radar. Now, the two things could be potentially linked, but also a future, Xavi's future as well. They could be linked. But the thing is that Xavi's been working with limited funds, and I don't think that he would be asking for Barcelona to go out there in the market and spend big money if we just can't. And so this report, I take it with a grain of salt. Maybe he could be asking, hey, let me have more power in the transfer market, because as we all know, him and Deco, they're sometimes at clash. Looking at which players to get. You saw that last summer, for example. Deco was obviously wanted just to go for younger players, invest in the youth, invest in the future. And Xavi, he wanted to go for the experienced veterans, for example, to basically strengthen the squad now. And so, that report, it could be looking towards that scenario where, Xavi is just asking for a little bit more power in Barcelona's transfer discussions. But back on Bernardo Silva, the question is, should Barcelona go for Bernardo Silva, knowing that he's going to be turning 30 years old, and knowing that we have other areas in the squad that we do need to fill? Now, my thoughts on the whole situation is Bernardo Silva is a world-class player. He's absolutely phenomenal, one of the most important players in that Man City squad. And if he does come to Barcelona, I think he would suit the team perfectly. He would be an instant impact for the team. However, I digress. And Bernardo Silva, I view him as like a luxury player. I think that Barcelona, they more desperately need a CDM. We more desperately need a left winger. We need to sort out the situation with Joao Cancelo. Are we keeping him or not? And 50 million euros for a player who, his position is already covered, sort of like that right wing who can, become an advanced midfielder. That position is already covered. You have Lamine Yamal, you have Rafinha, you have Ferran Torres. In the midfield, you have Gundogan, Pedri, Gavi, Fermin Lopez. You have talent in that squad. And although I do agree that Bernardo Silva could be a huge addition, I don't know if it's going to be the right decision. But guys, definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on Bernardo Silva. And we already know what Joao Felix thinks of Bernardo Silva. And this is what he says in regards to Bernardo Silva. Let them bring Bernardo Silva. Let them bring him. He is very good and even better as a person. He asked me about Barcelona. He has family here. He asked me how things are here. I have told him that everything is fine for him to come. If I were Deco for a day, I would sign Bernardo Silva without a doubt. And so, as you guys know, Bernardo Silva and Joao Felix, they're both teammates for the national team. They are teammates. And, those are two friends, contacted saying, hey, how is life at Barcelona? Are you enjoying your time there? And, a player who's also futures uncertain, Joao Felix, he had nothing but, glowing words to say about Barcelona, encouraging him to come. And, it'd be an ideal scenario in which we can keep all these players, but Barcelona, they're not in that situation, and so we can only look for certain players and fill certain gaps in the squad. But guys, I want to be talking in a little bit more detail about Joao Felix's interview with Gerard Romero, as he also talks about the youngsters in Barcelona. And this is what he says in regards to them. Barcelona is the club in Spain where the best players come from La Masia. I am very surprised by new talents like Cobarsi or Lamine. 5 years ago, 16-year-olds did not think the way they think now. And maybe that is a change in football because, I've been watching football since 2015. It's 2015, 2014. I'm relatively new. I know like a couple of viewers are also young, but maybe there are some older viewers who have been watching football for decades. And I want to ask, is the inclusion of so many youngsters into the game something extraordinary and new? Because I haven't seen this influx of young talent in world football so early in recent years. Maybe that's a difference, to an increase in opportunity for youngsters, an increase of training facilities, allowing these players to develop even further, development of the sport, everything like that could be factors to take into account. But the 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and the kids who are coming into football, they're absolutely playing at an insane level. But continuing on with the interview, Joao Felix, he talks about his playing time. And this is what he says in regards to that. I prefer to play 2 games in 2 days. In this case, since it is an important match, this break is good for us to prepare well for the match. We are comfortable and very motivated with this great match. We're in a great moment. This is also, in regards to the PSG game, and he says this in regards to PSG. The games we play against big teams, we have enormous motivation. That's where the best players appear. Those are the big days. We take into account the weapons of your team, and Mbappe, Dembele. We know their dangers, and we hope to win. And I want to have this brief discussion. Do you guys think that Barcelona are better off with this 10-day break, or would you rather be in PSG situation where they're going to be playing 2 games in these 10 days? And then going into the UCL match, would you rather continue playing, keeping up that match sharpness, or would you rather say, hey, let's take these 10 days, let's rest, let's have a training match in which Barcelona are going to have on Saturday, and they're also going to see how Frankie de Jong develops in that in that match, just to see if he's going to be ready for PSG, and then face the match against PSG. Definitely let me know your thoughts on that. Continuing on, he talks about the controversy around him, and this is all the situation with like his personal life and everything like that. I don't care if everything I say is controversial. I'm used to it. It already happened to me in Portugal. I am prepared. In Spain, it didn't happen so much with Atletico. Since here there are Barca and Madrid. Now talking, continuing on and talking about Lamine and Cobarsi, he says this about them. There are players who break down with mistakes. However, Lamine or Cobarsi grow. That says a lot about the personality of these kids. And that's something that I've said time and time again. These guys, they look like veterans and they play with such confidence, such maturity on the ball that you're thinking, hey, these are not, teenagers. These are teenagers who, are just, they should be in school. They should be, taking their high school exams and everything like that. But instead they're making, grown men out on the pitch look like idiots. Continuing on and just talking about some final quotes, Felix talks about Xavi, and this is what he says in regards to his departure. We did not expect Xavi's departure. It was a surprise. We remain just as motivated and with the same dynamics. Before they scored a goal against us with every shot, but that's football. He's talking about the opponents. We haven't felt like it because Xavi has announced his departure. And I talked about this in yesterday's video where the team, they feel, and Xavi specifically, they feel like that pressure has been released in them and they're playing with a little more confidence. But if Xavi, for example, decides to change his mind, does that pressure come back and it starts to mount again? Because is this just, hey, Barcelona, they're doing like a last hurrah for Xavi, trying to end off in a high before that new manager comes in? Because if that's the case, then I don't know if it'd be a smart situation for Xavi to stay. And now, guys, I'm going to be talking about the final quote, and this is in regards about his signing at Barcelona. And this is what he said: "The signing for Barcelona was the last day. There was nothing planned. I had to go to the stadium in the morning to clear contractual issues that I had to resign. Either I resigned or they wouldn't let me come to Barca. Let's see what we will have to do to stay at Barca. Many things can change. It doesn't just depend on me." And so Joao Felix's future at Barcelona, it's still uncertain. We're gonna have to wait until the summer to see what happens with that. But of course, it's gonna be interesting, and I'll definitely make sure to keep you guys updated. But now, guys, for the final, last couple minutes of the video, I'm gonna be talking about Barcelona One, their streaming platform that has just launched, and as you guys can see right now, Barcelona One has launched with two plans. One of them is free, and the other you have to pay basically €2 up per month. The free plan, it offers access to documentaries, series, match replays, live streaming, etc., etc. And one premium, it includes all of that, but it offers ad-free viewing as well as premium content, and allows you to download videos and streams to view it offline. And it's going to be interesting to see, hey, what Barcelona decide to basically film, and if we are able to see match replays and everything like that. Is it going to be certain La Liga games? Is it going to be UCL games, everything like that? But if everything is there, if everything is going to be in one platform, I definitely recommend subscribing, because that's the place where you guys would be able to keep up to date with everything Barcelona. And also, I'll make sure to keep you updated on this channel. But guys, that was it for the video for tonight. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on everything that discussed on today's video. What do you guys make of Bernardo Silva and Barcelona's pursuit of the Portuguese? You guys still think that Barcelona should go out for what is to be a 30-year-old? Or would you guys say, hey, let's prioritize a pivot, let's prioritize a left winger, let's prioritize Joao Cancelo instead of a luxury signing? Then as well, what do you guys make of Joao Felix's interview with Gerardo Romero, in which he talks about a wide range of subjects? And lastly, what do you guys make of Barcelona launching their own Netflix, their own streaming platform? Are you guys going to be subscribing to that? Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts. But guys, thank you guys all for watching, and thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys who tune into the channel, and make sure to tune in for our live episode that we are going to do later on tonight. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Catch you guys all in the next video.